Hi everyone, Indez here. Today I'm going to bring you the 5-star legendary gem tier list. This is one of the highly requested videos that I have all the times. Metas keep changing, new gems comes into the game. So now it's 2025, a lot of things have changed. And as the rules for this, because I want you to get and make the wisest decisions for this game, we're going to be ranking these gems based on its universal use for any class and any build, PvP or PvE. Yes, there are gems that are very good in very niche cases, but because I want you to get the highest return on your in time investment or money investment, I think like you actually should go with a gem that pretty much is gonna work for almost everything. So for the first one we have here to start, we have the Blood-Soaked Jade. This gem, it has been very popular since the start of the game. It's gonna increase your damage and also 10% of your movement speed. So it has been since the game a S tier gem and nothing have changed since then. Now let's go here into the Bottle Hope. This one, it is very controversial. A lot of people say to me that it is a S tier gem, and I'm gonna try to explain why I actually don't think it is a S tier gem. In the beginning of the game, absolutely it was a S tier gem, and if you can actually make Bottle Hope ranking it up plus like 6 or like rank 7 above, which this is mainly only well territory, yes, most likely it is still a S tier gem. But this gem at rank 10, which only like a few players can actually have, it's actually gonna give you 25% damage boost. And as you guys know, now it's 2025 and we have a lot of like new powerful 2-star gems that they actually go and give you 36% damage increase, which is a lot. And another thing is that if you are running a Bottle Hope at rank 2, 3 or even 4 as a low spender or a free-to-play player, and you are in a party that it has someone with a rank 10 or a rank 8, and if you are using a Bottle Hope, it can actually be worse for your party because you're gonna trigger it, you're gonna put all the party in cooldown, and the boost that you guys gonna have, it's not that big. On top of that, this gem got the skill cooldown reduction, which is really good. That's why I say it's really worth it if you have a higher rank, and then you have movement speed buff. Unfortunately, this movement speed buff that it gives, nowadays most of the builds already have an inbuilt movement speed buff in it, so most classes don't need. But for example, if you are a Crusader, absolutely it is a S tier. But as I said, there's been some power creep in the game that right now I don't feel like you really need to have a Bottle Hope. Still a top gem. For the next one, we have here the Chipped Stone. Well, the Chipped Stone pretty much is gonna trigger some extra damage whenever you hit the target with a total loss of control. For example, if you stun, if you freeze, something like that. So this one has a very specific niche use. For example, if you are using a Crusader with a dots build that you're gonna resolve, you're gonna blind them, and it's gonna create a bunch of damage. So because it still has like some use, I will rank it up as a S tier. The next one, it is gonna be the Equine Shade. This used to be like one of the best primary attack builds, legendary gems. Unfortunately, again, like since we have so many like new 2 stars, 1 stars, and 5 stars coming into the game, I feel like right now there is absolutely no reason for you to go and build your Equine Shade. For me, it is D tier nowadays. When it comes here to the Howler Skull, this one, it is well, D tier. Once again, like it is being super power creep. You don't want to use your resources. Phoenix Ashes is gonna give you a revive, pretty much like a shit dead, but the cooldown, it is so big that in my opinion it is a huge skip. You don't really want to build this. Then the other one, which is the Sweeping Bile. This is a dot gem. It is the only 5-star that actually gives dots. Well, you have like Roiling Consequence also adds like a burning, but let's just talk about like a main focus when it comes to the dots. This, if you're building a dot build, absolutely it is a S tier. And in the past I used to put it here in the A tier because in PvP also it creates like the slow, but for that you actually need to put the gem like very high on it. And since we got like new gems being added to the game, including the Colossus Engine and the Golden Firmament, I feel that if you're not even running a dot build, that's like a pretty much maybe a skip for this one. So I feel like the Sweeping Bile still has some use in PvP and also, for example, for open world farming, but definitely I think it kind of dropped a bit when it comes like to the priority. Now the next one, we have the Zenshu, another dead gem, nobody really cares. Another one which is here, the Blessing of the Worthy. Again, it's gonna give you like some shields, like it doesn't really matter. Then you have here the Frozen Heart. This is a defensive gem. It's gonna give you extra shield, but to be honest, defensive gems are not as powerful as they used to be. They maybe in PvP they still have some use, but it's just like so niche, and I feel like the value that you get from them is not like that big. The other one, it is the Hellfire Fragment. This is another gem that pretty much is being dead on arrival. The other one is Concentrated Will, another gem that, well, it is pretty dead. And we have here the Gloom Cask. This Gloom Cask gem, it is very, very good when it comes to the primary attack builds. It's gonna create like some extra AoE. There's like some dark waves whenever you attack. It is like really good on Tempest, is really good on Demon Hunter. But again, the use, it is not universal, but it is only and mainly for classes that they actually use primary attacks. However, for those specific builds, it is very powerful. It is the same situation as the Sweeping Bile, that if you're using a dot build, it is still like very good. So I will put them on the same tier, Gloom Cask on the B tier, and depending on your class, most likely can also be S tier. Then we have here the Starfire Shard. This one for me, it used to be higher on a priority. What it does is like whenever you hit a target, there's like these meteors that they're gonna drop, they're gonna create like some burning effect, and they're gonna knock back. So this, it is most likely a PvP gem. For PvE in general, like you most likely don't want to really use a gem that they do extra damage. You always want to prefer and prioritize gems that they're gonna increase your damage, that they're gonna scale your damage, because damage increase, they start stacking on top of each other, and that's gonna be way more beneficial for you when it comes to the PvE. So in that sense, I feel like Starfire Shard used to be maybe here at the A tier, but personally I feel like it is so niche when it comes like to PvP. Most likely I'm gonna put it here as the B tier. The next one that I want to bring it up, it is the Void Spark. This Void Spark, it is a gem that I see so many people asking me, whoa, what is that gem that does the chain lightning whenever you're farming or you're playing? Well, it's this one. It is the Void Spark. It triggers a buff on you for a certain duration that whenever you're attacking the targets, it can hit up to 8 targets. This is like really good, for example, when you're playing with the dot builds, because it's gonna spread your dots during through everyone in the battlegrounds. Also is great for farming, also is like great for the dungeons. In general, it is a very safe choice that you can actually put on your build and still have a lot of benefits when it comes to it. Not only that, also increase your attack speed, which for me, it makes it like a very solid and reliable gem to put your resources in. So Void Spark is A tier. I think it is super solid. When it comes here to the Spiteful Blood, this one, in my opinion, it used to be like a crazy gem for the PvP. So if you don't know what it does, pretty much it's gonna give you like a big shield, but the most important thing was that it was gonna give you an immunity to primary attacks. But since the meta over the past months have shifted from like primary attack builds, except like for example Tempest or even a few Demon Hunters, but it definitely has changed to a skill damage meta. What does this mean? That now everyone it is using, for example, the Arcane Winds, they are using like the Golem when it comes like to the skill damage with the punches. They are using a lot of Crusaders with those circles for the fires and the judgment. They are using Ota, the Hammer of the Ancients from Barbarians. So a lot of the damage that happens nowadays inside Battlegrounds, they are mainly focused on skill damage, which made me think that Spiteful Blood kind of dropped a bit when it comes to the tiers. However, I still feel like it is better than the Frozen Heart, so for that I will put it in B tier. Still a very decent gem when it comes to PvP. The next one we have here, the Maw of the Deep. The Maw of the Deep, it is another pretty much like PvP gem. It kind of works very well when it comes to Starfire, but I have to put like the Starfire still above, because the Maw of the Deep itself, if you only have this gem, it kind of like, it is kind of mid, like it is okay-ish. So for that, we're gonna put it as a C tier. If you don't know what this one is the one that whenever you are in battlegrounds and someone attacks you, and like a shark comes and tries to hit you up and knock you up, this is the one. But for that, it is like very easy to actually go and dodge it. Unless you are knocked down from the Starfire, most likely you're not gonna get this damage coming from the Maw of the Deep. Now here, the Roiling Consequence, the gem that does and started all this power crept. This gem does fire damage. This gem gives you critical hit chance. This gem gives you a buff that creates a bunch of explosions that's gonna start burning the enemies, and also is gonna increase the critical hit chance against burning enemies. This powerhouse, it is one of the best gems in the game right now, and it is the most solid choice. If you get this gem, pretty much is like almost game over. It's is actually godly. The next one, it is gonna be here, the Hilts of the many realms. It is a gem that gives you like some spades on the top that whenever you attack the target, the spades they drop. They can also create like some kind of knockback. It is mostly like a PvP gem. There are some niche uses when it comes, for example, to Barbarian, but I feel like it dropped like so much into the meta that, to be honest, I will not go for it, to a point that even like Diablo Immortal put it like away from the pool of the legendary gems because nobody really cares about it. Stormvault, it is a gem that together with a Roiling Consequence, you can create like some Firestorm. It is a very solid gem when it comes like to damage, but once again, it is a damage gem. It doesn't like really increase your damage. It doesn't buff you up, but it's still like very solid when it comes to PvP. It is also solid, for example, if you're doing AFK farming and all these things. However, if it is a must-build gem, not really. In the past, I feel like maybe it used to be like a A tier, but now we have like better choices coming into the game. So I'm most likely gonna drop the Stormvault to B tier. Now, for the last three, we have here the Wulfheort. This one, man, in my opinion, it is still a very, very solid gem. Every 5 hits that the target gets, you want to do some extra damage. It's like you have like the 4 pieces grace with you all the time. Not only that, it's gonna create an attack speed buff for your party, and overall, like, you cannot really go wrong with it. So I will say it is a very solid A tier. It adds a lot of extra damage and most likely will be at my top tier of the gems to build. The other one, it is the Gold Firmament, one of the most recent gems together with the Colossus Engine. This one, in my opinion, I mean, it gives you evasion rating, which is like nice when it comes to the PvP, and then it just gives you a buff that you start like having like these wind blades. At first, whenever we tested this on the testing server, it was actually not proccing the Firestorm together with the Roiling Consequence, but then they kind of fixed it up and actually created a better version of like the Stormvault as a gem, and this gem does like so much damage whenever you have all of these Firestorm proccing all the time. It is also very solid in PvP to add the extra damage. In PvE, for farming, it is also very good. For the dungeons, it also creates a lot of extra damage. And surprisingly, it is one of the highest damage gems when it comes to the game, if you have the Roiling Consequence. And last but not the least, we have here the Colossus gem. This one, oh my god. I am really feeling the power creep coming into the game. Just hear me out. It can give you up to 50% skill damage. And as I said, most of the meta nowadays, it is skill damage. It gives you an increased size where your character becomes like massive, which is going to increase your movement speed. On top of that, it's going to increase the range of your skills. So imagine like if instead of your circles being this side, they become this big. And I feel like that's so valuable, like these increased sizes when it comes to the skills and your character, that the utility on the gem plus the damage plus immunity to knockback in PvP, it works on any class, everywhere, PvP, PvE. It is, in my opinion, a must build. So this is the tier list. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. As I said, like, you cannot really go wrong if you invest on any of these S or A tier gems. They are very, very solid investments when it comes to your resources. Anything else below, it is or very niche to a very specific class or build, or the D tier, it is just don't need to build it. It's just gonna waste like some resource. They are already being power crept, and as time goes on, well, they're gonna be even more. So with this, I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Don't forget to put in the comments, do you guys agree, do you guys disagree? I am sure that many of you guys are like, oh my god, Indez, how can you put like my favorite gem in B tier, blah 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 blah. I already know, I know the comments, but still I want to hear them. So thank you guys, thank you for enjoying, liking, subscribing, thank you for joining the memberships, and with this, thank you for watching, and I catch you guys on the live streams. Peace.